How the hell do I say this? I keep messing up.
Harquahala? Is that how you say that? Harquahala.
Harquahala. Harquahala. Harquahala. Harquahala. Okay? Quara. Halaquahara. Damn it. I don't know. I'm just a white boy from the east. I can't pronounce this. Ish. Today, we're going to go for a ride on the Harquahala Mountain Backcountry Byway. Harquahala Peak is the tallest in southwestern Arizona, standing proudly at 5,681 feet above sea level. The name Harquahala originated from the Yavapai people and translates to running water high up. As we explore this beautiful byway, we'll run into some relics of its past and marvel at the natural beauty and views that Harquahala has to offer. Let's discover some secrets of Harquahala together. I've already aired down, so let's get this adventure started. Let's go. The Harquahala Scenic Backcountry Byway offers something for everyone. The route itself is fairly rugged, but shouldn't pose a problem for even novice off-roaders. For the nature lover, it has beautiful Sonoran desert scenery and very distinct ecosystem variations that can be seen with changes in elevation. In addition to the beautiful and typical desert wildlife that can be encountered, bighorn sheep may also be spotted. Unfortunately, I didn't see any on this journey. For the scenic enthusiast, the summit is the highest point in southwest Arizona with breathtaking 360-degree vistas. If you happen to be a hiking enthusiast, a pack trail leads from the summit down the mountain through the Harquahala Wilderness Area, designated in the Arizona Desert Wilderness Act of 1990. If you happen to be a big history buff, the drive displays old mining debris, shafts, and stone houses from earlier miners. The grand finale is finally realized at the summit with the Harquahala Observatory, which you'll see later on in the video. So we're coming up to the turnoff for Monterey Mine in just a couple minutes here. So we're gonna bang a right, head on up there, and see if we can find anything interesting at the Monterey Mine. I didn't expect this little stone cabin. I did zero research on this off-spur of Monterey Mine, so very happy to have found this. You come up on this pretty much just after you turn on to Monterey Mine. Obviously there isn't much left, there never is, but these are always gems to find out here. Old stone cabins are always cool to check out, but it was time to move on to the top of Monterey to see what we could find up there. The Monterey Off-Spur is just over a mile, so it's a super quick little side trip, but it is extremely rocky. Quite a bit different than the main route of the Harquahala Byway.
Now this climb up to Monterey is extremely rocky, very narrow, and pretty steep in some places, but easily manageable for four-wheel drive and high clearance. So we have this old mining structure right here. We do have to go up another level right there. So we're gonna head up that way to the very top now. Top of that structure, we were just right down below there. And of course, I'm still not having any luck with mine shafts. Obviously, barricaded up and blocked off. It says federal mining claim, so obviously we're not gonna be able to go inside. Smile, you're on camera too. Okay, well, the top of Monterey Mine. Nothing too exciting, but at least we can say that we came out here. Now to head back down this very short but rocky, steep and narrow off-spur. Now I really don't know where I am in terms of, like, say, a town, but I can tell you that we are about 40 minutes northwest of Wickenburg. So not too far from my house. Took me about an hour and 40 minutes to get out to the trailhead today. It is Sunday, so if I go out on the Sunday, I try to choose places that won't take me very long, because obviously I gotta work the next day, and Mondays are always my early day. This seemed like a very interesting area out here today, so that's why we're out here. Now coming back down the hill, I saw this old water tank, and I looked to my left and I could see some more concrete over here. Now way down there is the old stone cabin. Okay, you can see that there. Looks like two other small little tanks, those circular objects right there. Yeah, I don't know what they are, but they look like two little water reservoirs to me. I always do wish I was very well versed and educated when it came to old mining structures and sites, but I'm learning as I go. So this is the other side. That actually looks like some sort of a water spillway to bring water from the top down to the bottom here. Small holding tanks. Actually, there's three. So yeah, some sort of a water transfer system from top to bottom. All right, let's continue on to Harquahala. It is May, so it's a real pleasure to see the saguaro are budding again. Always love this time of year when they bloom. Absolutely beautiful.
Proceeding up the Harquahala Byway, this is where you really start to gain some elevation. It gets kind of narrow in some places and there are multiple switchbacks. But as you can plainly see, the road itself is in really good condition.
Now we are gaining a good amount of elevation right now. We're sitting at 3,051 feet. I am running in two-wheel drive, but you can see the views up here, absolutely fantastic as of yet.
At merely just over 3,000 feet, the views are already starting to please. Now I mentioned previously that I was running Harquahala in two-wheel drive, and you definitely can. But for some of the steeper sections, I slapped the Bronco in 4A, which is basically Ford's version of all-wheel drive. This took care of 100% of any and all slippage I had on the steeper sections.
We are almost to the top of Harquahala. Damn it! I can't remember. Harquahala. Whatever, it's a lost cause for me. And it is pretty hazy out. There is a fire. All that haze you're seeing is the smoke from that wildfire. You can see that amazingly awesome scenic ridgeline trail that we came up on. I am pulled off at this Vista point / campsite. There is a fire ring with even a griddle that you can cook your food over the fire on. Of course, it's always going to be windy up here at these high elevations. If you can deal with the wind, then it's a pretty good camp spot. You got views for days.
Now there are a couple, but this is the very first parking area as you near the summit. This large one here, and there's a smaller one right up the way.
Just about to the top. The observatory is right up there. I also see what looks like a comm tower. Elevation up here is just over 5,000 feet. And let me tell you, it's beautiful. Just gorgeous. Down here at this little parking area, 2 fire pits and 2 picnic tables, 1 on each side. So you can see down over there. Let's head on up to the very top and see what we can find up there.
The Harquahala Peak Observatory, at elevation 5,680 feet, is an adobe 2-story building with wooden beams, but it appears fragile due to it being covered with corrugated tin roof and siding. It has a wooden 2nd-story porch and a cement water catchment device on its northern end. The observatory was built in 1920 by the Smithsonian. Scientists staffed the observatory from 1920 to 1925. This location was picked because of its remoteness from pollution and for the region's high percentage of cloudless days. Solar observations began on October 3rd, 1920, and for 5 years, measurements of the solar constant were taken at the site. The equipment used was a pyroheliometer, an early device used to measure the sun's energy output. The solar constant measurement, which has since been abandoned as a method, was used to determine the effect of the sun's energy output on the Earth's climate. Contrary to what some believe, no telescopes were ever used here. In order to gain easier access and better atmospheric conditions, the Harquahala Peak Observatory operations were moved to Table Mountain, California in 1925. Although deserted now, for the 5 years it was in operation, a hardy group of scientists lived, worked, and relaxed atop here of the highest peak in the southwest of Arizona. The individuals that worked here, with its seclusion and weather, represents an enlivened story of dedicated scientific pursuit and American inventiveness.
I'm not sure if you can make it out, but down off into the valley, you can see farmland. There are signs on this fence that say Central Arizona Project, so I'm not sure what they use this telecom tower for. You have a good amount of solar panels providing power to it. And if you want to come up here and you feel like doing some hiking, that is a hiking trail that goes down the mountain. So now we'll head on over to the observatory building and see what we can find over there. I'm sure that's going to be a lot more interesting than a solar array with a telecom tower. And boy, is it windy up here. There used to be some plaques with information about this spot on here, but obviously they're gone now because of weather and erosion. Well, it is windy as all hell up here, but you cannot beat the views. You cannot get into the observatory building. I didn't think that you'd be able to, but it is definitely worth coming up here. You have just about 360-degree views all the way around. I'm not at the highest point right now on foot that you can get to, but just head right up that hill right there, reach the top, 360. This is a nice quick day trip to do if you just want to come out and get some views and not take all day to do it.
Well, that was a great time checking out the observatory, but I was looking forward to the drive back down the mountain because now all those amazing views are in front of me instead of behind me.
Now, going down steep grades like this, the technique that I like to use is I like to be in 4 low, switch it down into manual gearing, and keep it in either first or second, depending on how steep the grade is. That way, you're not using your brakes and wearing them down, you're letting the engine braking do all the work. Just an easy little technique to help you save your brakes. I know I keep showing you the view shots, but they're just too good not to. Another thing to bear in mind if you come up here, I'm seeing a lot of fallen rocks all over the road, so just keep an eye out for those. You don't want any of those slamming into you as you try to drive by. That wouldn't make for a very good day, especially if one's big. It was definitely a fun run. You know, they all are. Definitely one to come out and see at least once. It's a great day trip. You know, getting outside and exploring anywhere, for me, it recenters me. It puts me back in balance, so to say. So of course, I'm always gonna remind all of you to get outside, get out into nature, and go exploring. Don't become the person that says in the future, I should have done this, I should have done that. I should have gotten outside more. Do it now while you can and while you're able. And it was an awesome ride as usual. Will I come back out here again? Probably not, but it was well worth it to at least see it once. I'm AJ, this is Buckin' Life. Don't forget, don't ever stop exploring. We'll see you in the next one, guys.